Welcome back everyone for our May update. This is kind of a long one, so bear with me. We just had so much to share. We did have some big goals for May that we wanted to achieve with Wes. The first one, of course, was getting off property for some outings. And then secondary to that, I really wanted to establish both of our lope leads. So stay tuned and see how all of that went. We're actually going to start with the secondary goal first, because I achieved that earliest in the month. We did establish both of our lope leads with Wes, which was super exciting. First, I just started out just by doing this in straight lines, because he just was not strong enough, or frankly felt coordinated enough to do anything other than a straight line. But as you can see here, this was our first time loping a right lead full circle, so very, very exciting that he could both steer and organize those spider legs into a lope. And he's quite comfortable, and as you can see right about here, I just start to float the rein to him just to kind of see what happens, and his shape and his speed doesn't change a bit, so he's carrying himself really, really nicely in that lope. I'm very, very proud of that. Most of our video is from our first big horse show outing. We did get off property just for a trail ride, little trailer ride to a local trail system, so that was good just to establish that yes, we can get in the trailer and go places and it's fun. But this was our first big horse show, so rather than choosing, an easy day show, I went whole hog. So we went to a 2-night ranch horse show about 2 hours away. This is a really, really nice series. It's really friendly to other breeds. We actually added an other breed cow class, which we'll get to a little bit later. But here's Wes in the busy schooling pen, and this was something in particular I really wanted to conquer. I didn't care if we got into the show ring as long as he would sort of just learn to school quietly. Because as you can see, there's a lot going on in here. There's people working in different directions, working at different speeds. There's people loping, there's people spinning around, there's people just wandering around, kind of getting in the way. So there's a lot going on, and he handled it really, really well. This was his first time riding with other horses other than the ones that he lives with, so I really didn't know what to expect. But he handled the show really well. He stabled great. He was a little nervous and calling initially, but got over that. And every day he just got a little more confident every single time we took him out. So he did really well. This was actually on the second show day, so Sunday morning, probably Sunday midday. And he's just trucking around the pen. And as you can see, he's actually offering to kind of carry himself and go on contact for the first time ever. So normally the show is not a place I want to do training. The show is just a place to, kind of take it all in and see how your training has gone, and take in new experiences. But he offered the contact, so we kind of went with it and trucked around all cute like you see right now. So he had a really, really nice show weekend. I'm really, really pleased with this. So getting now into the specific classes, this was on the first morning. This was our first class on Saturday. This is the novice horse box. So in the ranch classes, boxing refers to showing control of the cow at the short end of the ring. You're in for 50 seconds, and you just work the cow until your time is up. So this was our first time working a cow in the show ring. Of course, he's worked plenty of cows at home. And what I learned here is that, normally I would sit and drive and roll back and go. And when I do that, Wes he's trying so hard. You can see he's not quite coordinated enough to be able to lope off in an organized fashion and then still get a good halt and a rollback. That's just too much for him where he's at in his strength and his balance right now. And he kind of reverts back to the pace. And then, of course, when he's pacing, he doesn't really have very good brakes. He just can't get organized enough to stop square and roll back like you need on a cow. You can see he's trying really, really hard. So I'm doing my best to just give him a good, quiet ride and help him sort of find his rhythm. So what we don't have video of is our second class, and that was the other breed box. And I actually posted the trot to help him stay in that rhythm, and it went much better, and he was actually 2nd out of 7. So that was pretty cool. This class I don't think we placed, which is fine. Here we are on Sunday morning in the trail class, which admittedly I just went into school because I will freely admit to you all, I have not been practicing my trail obstacles. So we sort of freestyled it a little bit. This was supposed to be a side pass over the pole. Wes still does not like to side pass over things, so we broke it down just to the basic elements, which was a side pass, and then I just demonstrated that he can in fact straddle a pole, he just can't do both of those things at the same time. So take that little win and move on to the next obstacle. So we made a few other similar sort of modifications to the pattern. The judge I don't know how much she appreciated it, but I appreciated that she just sort of let us do that for a little while. And this can be a really good thing to do with a green horse, is to just eat an entry fee, go in, get him exposed to stuff, as long as you're being respectful and, not being rude about it. So we gave every obstacle a good try, just sort of in our own way. So our next maneuver here is supposed to be a right lead, or a right pivot into a right lead lope, and I opted, instead of loping him over a pole, which I did not think he was quite ready for, we just trotted it. So broke it down into something that we could do well and accept a little win, especially because this horse does not have a lot of natural confidence over obstacles. We just chunked it down into stuff that was easy for him so that he could feel like he was going in and getting a good ride. All of that confidence kind of went out the window though when we got to the next obstacle, which he had seen and schooled the night before, but then overnight they added some additional visual obstacles with little plastic woodland creatures, which he wanted no part of at all. And he's not the kind of horse that will just sort of stand quietly and look at something if he's nervous. He really wants to move his feet, and he would really actually just like to leave the building. So I did my best to at least just get him to approach it, and if he had reached a point where he would approach and then stop and stand, I would have called that good enough, but he would rather stop and then get out of dodge, which is not my preferred method for looking at new obstacles. So we kind of danced our way around it for a minute or two, and then finally the judge asked us to move on, which we did. Sorry, judge. Back in familiar territory by the next obstacle, I just sort of forgot how to rope, but at least Wes handled the dummy pretty well. At this point, it's pretty clear to me that if I want to do well at trail, I actually need to put in the time to do trail. And right now, it's just not really something that's interesting me with this horse, so we're actually going to opt to sit trail out from here on. We did, however, have a really good time in the rail class. You can see me laughing, and you're about to see the show organizer come by also laughing. And teasing my husband who's videotaping. We had a really good time in this class because I warned her. I was like, look, my little standardbred, he's gonna go real fast and it might alarm some of your people, but they're all open riders and they should be able to handle it. So normally I like to go into the ring first just because I think it shows a lot of confidence. Wes, however, does not like to go in the ring first, so Wes will win this round and we will not make him go in the ring first. You can see that he is a little googly-eyed at all of these tarps, even though he's been in and out of this ring like 100 times at this point. So that's fine, Wes, you win. We'll go in not first next time. Eventually he does kind of blend in here on the rail, I'd like to think. You'll also notice he's back in a bitted bridle. He's just in a loose ring snaffle. He and I had a little bit of an argument in the warm-up pen about steering, so I decided just to be safe to pop him back into the snaffle for this class. Here he is in his first ever show ring lope. He's still at a stage in his training where to sustain a lope, he's got to go pretty quickly. He just doesn't have the strength or the balance yet to really do a slow lope. So we kind of gave it everything she's got, Captain, and just kept on loping. This felt like it went forever. I think I timed it and it was like a minute and 15 seconds on the replay. Once again, you can see me laughing because I think someone probably made a funny comment. That's a really long time to lope on a horse that you've really just been loping like little circles and straight lines with in the cow pasture. So just sort of kept my leg on and kept him going, and he was like, oh my god, I'm so tired, but he did it, and we finished, and we were able to sustain the lope in both leads, both directions for the entire class, so I was thrilled that for his first show ever we were able to lope right off. So good boy, Wes. You'll see his downward transition still a little rough, but again, that'll come with more time and more strength and more balance. So it's all coming together. My husband, who actually watched this show all weekend, then by the last class was like, I think I'd like to give this a go. So we stuck him on for the adult walk trot. He had ridden this horse like twice at a walk only, and he kind of figured him out in the warm-up ring, and out he went, and they actually won. So that was a really, really nice way to end Wes's first ever horse show.